Hi, we're here at Gen Con with Geno Salvatore, co-author of the Stowaway. Geno, why don't you tell us a little bit about the inspiration for the book?
Well, the inspiration for the story was essentially they asked my father and myself to fill this gap that's in the Legend of Drizzt series. And I came up with a story for that, and then I kept looking at the story and saying, well, to tell that story, we need to tell this story, and this and this and this, and backtrack, and eventually ended up with the Stowaway, which is now several years further back than they originally wanted it to be, but I think it came out pretty well.
So I did read it, and you know I'm now your biggest fan.
Only fan so far.
But what I'm curious about, I know you played D&D, and I know you've played a lot of D&D. Can you tell us where the character Maimon came from?
The character Maimon had nothing to do with D&D, actually. It's just mostly remembering myself at age 12 and trying to put that down on paper. And I think the kid's probably a bit more sarcastic than I was, and maybe a little bit less sharp, actually, as I dull with age. But yeah, it's just based on myself, not so much on any of my D&D characters. They're always much more flamboyant and, well, obnoxious, to be honest.
So I know that Drizzt makes a cameo.
Drizzt does.
In
He
there.
shows up.
Is that where the inspiration came from? Like, is that your dad's contribution to the book, or?
Oh no, his contribution was much more than that. He and I were together for the entire outlining process, and then all the way through writing. He was there as a sounding board for the story. The story was mine originally, but he helped me polish it and pace it and figure out where everything was going, and actually wrote some of the passages in it. Drizzt is there because the story was supposed to be tangential to the Drizzt story, and it happens that he shows up. He's there. It makes sense. It runs right alongside the Halfling's Gem, which is the 6th book in the Legend of Drizzt series, 3rd published, 6th chronologically. And some of the events from that book show up, just told from a different perspective. So,
Right. What I'm curious about, I want to know about your D&D experiences. You just told me off camera that you played 1st edition all the way through.
I first played Dungeons and Dragons. I was 6 years old. My brother was 7, and my father ran the two of us through the keep on the Borderlands, where we both got killed by an owlbear. And I've sort of been playing ever since. Right now I'm in 2 groups. One I'm a player, one I'm a DM, playing 4th edition, which is I'm very much enjoying it. Makes it a lot easier on the DM than 3rd edition used to be, I have to say. Yeah, it's just a hobby that I've done forever, and I plan to continue right up until I stop enjoying it. So we'll see if that ever happens.
That's great. So the book releases September 9th, correct?
Yes, September
And that's
9th.
the day you go on your East Coast tour?
Yeah, I believe I'm in Orlando on September 9th, and we're touring for about a week on the East Coast. And then the Pirate King, which is the next installation in the actual Drizzt series, and transitions, launches in October, and we'll be on tour for 2 weeks, west, southwest areas. I don't know the specifics, but
Well, the specifics will be on the Wizards website, so if you're looking for dates and locations, you can look on there. And I thank you for your time today. It was great talking to you. I hope you have fun at the show, and we'll maybe get on a table later on and play D&D.
Maybe.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Cool.